Is everybody in something?
I'm ready. So, social media, report.
Good evening. Welcome to the November 7th board meeting of the Carroll County Board of Education. We are now in our meeting. At this time, we're going to observe a moment of silence. Thank you. The first item on our agenda this evening is the approval of personnel recommendation. Ms. Jamie Gibbs has made a motion, has moved that we approve the personnel recommendations as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, how do you vote, Mr. Scripture?
Yes.
How do you vote, Ms. Gibbs?
Yes.
How do you vote, Ms. Limmerman?
Yes.
Ms. Robin is joining us remotely. Ms. Dunbar, can you hear us?
She's muted, but, it worked earlier today, so.
Ms. Dunbar, can you hear us?
Okay.
Yes.
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 Oh, good, okay.
We have a motion on the floor to approve the personnel recommendations as presented. And everyone's voted yes so far?
I vote yes.
And she votes yes. Thank you, Ms. Dunbar, and I vote yes. The personnel agenda is approved. Next is our approval of minutes from the June 6th board meeting. And we're just looking for a motion to approve this. Mr. Scripture.
Make a motion to accept the closed session meeting minutes for June 6th, 2022.
Is there any discussion? Ms. Jamie, can you refine your motion to say open session?
Oh, open session.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Jamie. Ms. Jamie's made a motion to approve the June 6th board meeting minutes in open session. How do you vote, Mr. Scripture?
Yes.
How do you vote, Ms. Gibbs?
Yes.
How do you vote, Ms. Liverman? How do you vote, Ms. Dunbar?
Ms. Carter, we're chatting.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to do social media.
I think she said yes. She votes yes, and I vote yes. The minutes are approved from June 6th. The next item is our consent agenda. This evening, we have three things under, well, one item under our consent agenda, and that's our school improvement plans from Terrell Elementary School, Columbia Middle School, and Columbia High School. Just to remind everyone, all matters listed under consent agenda are considered to be routine by the Board of Education and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, that item will need to be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. Ms. Liverman has made a motion to approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, how do you vote, Mr. Scripture?
Yes.
How do you vote, Ms. Gibbs?
Yes.
How do you vote, Ms. Liverman?
Yes.
How do you vote, Ms. Dunbar? Thank you, and I vote yes. The consent agenda is approved. Is there any reason to reorder the agenda? Thank you. At this time, we recognize our public forum, and I'm not sure if there's any names listed down there.
No, ma'am.
But I'll still say our disclaimer in case. The purpose of the public forum is to afford the public the opportunity to address the board in 3 minutes on matters related to policy or general concern. The board will listen and may ask questions to try to understand the matter being presented. As a general rule, the board delays discussion and/or decision until a later time. Since this is the only time on the agenda that the audience may participate in the board's meeting, if any person wishes to address the board, she or he should make it known at this time. Is there anybody who would like to address the board this evening? Okay, hearing none, we will go back down to our next item, which is our audit report, and Mr. Paul Carson is here for that.
Good evening, board members and Dr. Roseborough. I hope you're doing well. Each of you should have a bound copy of our audited June 30th, 2022 financial statements that we have issued. Now, the financial statements cover two main areas in which we're required to issue reports on. First being the financial section, which encompasses the first 55 pages of this report, and then the compliance section, which starts on page 56. And there are a couple pages in the financial information, the audit report that we plan to go over. One thing I did want to point out at first, there's no reason to turn there unless you want to, but on pages 1 and 2 of the report is the audit opinion letter that we issued on the financial section of the audit. We're happy to report that it is a clean, unmodified opinion, which is exactly what the board wants to receive. Now, the first page I'd like you to turn to would be page 13. This is Exhibit 3. And while you're turning there, Exhibits 3 and 4 are essentially the balance sheet and income statement for all of your governmental funds. These schedules show the fund activities and the fund balance on a fund-by-fund basis. The first column on page 13, the next to last number at the bottom, is the general fund balance as of June 30th, 2022, which is $351,048, which is a slight decrease of about $34,000 from the amount reported in the prior year. With all the uncertainty in the economy right now, along with minimum wage increases, rising healthcare costs, retirement costs, etc., we do feel it's important that the district to have extra funds in reserve for when the federal COVID relief funds expire in a couple of years. In addition, the district needs to maintain adequate fund balance and cash reserves and cash flow purposes and for potential emergency needs that may arise. Due to delays in federal funding, I think the finance department ends up heavily relying on the local fund balance in order to meet those cash flow needs. So it's important that the district ensures that it has adequate fund balance reserves to meet those needs and to allow the district to pay its bills in a timely manner. And looking at the other funds on the same page, the other specific revenue ended with a fund balance of 109,390, capital outlay with 489,698, and individual schools with 122,812. Overall, these funds appear to be in decent financial condition with good fund balance and cash reserves at June 30th, 2022. Are there any questions before we move on? And the next page I'd like to turn to will be page 55, and this is the school food service fund. This schedule shows the revenues, expenses, and changes in net position for fund balance for the school food service fund. Now, the program reported a profit for the year of $22,609. And the previous year, the district reported a profit of $71,000 for a year-over-year decline of approximately $48,000. Now, the decline in profitability over the prior year was primarily due to a decrease in coronavirus relief funds that flowed through the state that were for child nutrition funds, and those funds expired last year, the June 30th, 2021 year. But cash balances in the program were $401,000 year-end, which is a slight decrease of just about $4,000 for the year. And overall, the program appears to be in good financial condition as of June 30th, 2022. Now, moving on to the compliance section, on page 56 is the first of 3 letters that we issued relating to our compliance testing over the board's internal control, and expenditure of state and federal grant funds. We are required each year to perform compliance audits of the state and federal grants received by the district. And we're required to test a significant amount of payroll and general disbursement transactions, as well as testing for other various grant-specific requirements. We're happy to report that all 3 of these letters are also clean, unmodified opinions, which means there are no internal control weaknesses, findings, or question calls in any of these letters. Basically, these letters let you know that we didn't note any improper use of grant funds and feel that the district's finances appear to have been expended properly and in accordance with the budgets approved by the Board of Education. We did issue, and you should have these in the front of the financial statements, a separate 1-page letter to management regarding a matter in which there was an opportunity for the board to strengthen internal controls and operating efficiency. I did not plan on going over the letter in detail unless there are any questions about that. And then also you have a separate 3-page letter that details specific audit items that we're required to communicate to the board about. This letter basically has boilerplate language. It discusses that there were no difficulties, disagreements encountered in dealing with management during the audit. There were no uncorrected misstatements were noted, and there were no other reportable issues noted during the audit. So overall, we felt the audit went very smoothly this year, and the board appears to be in sound financial condition as of year end. Financially, the district appears to be very well managed, and the finances are very transparent. And Ms. Simmons and her staff do an outstanding job of maintaining accurate books and records and working to maximize state and federal funding available to the district. And we really do appreciate all of their hard work in helping us complete the audit this year. That's all I have. Are there any questions for me before we wrap up? All right, well, again, we really do appreciate you all allowing our firm to work with you with the audit this year, and we look forward to working with you guys again next year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is our commendations, awards, and presentations.
Well, first, we want to highlight our schools. Slide for the schools.
Yes.
We're gonna, at this time, if our principals could please come up, we would like to give them a round of applause for their hard work this last year. So So, to all of our principals, Mr. Ziegler could not be here tonight, but to Mrs. Matthias and to Mrs. Bridgers, on behalf of the board and, the central office staff and myself, we want to congratulate you on being one of 8 districts that met growth this past year. And so we wanted to publicly thank you for your hard work and dedication, for teaching and learning, here in Terrell County Schools. And this is something that we should be very proud of, and we want to shout it off of the rooftops because it was no easy feat. And I'm just so glad that I'm able to be a part of Terrell County Schools, to be a part of this celebration. And these are all of the districts that either met or exceeded growth this past school year. Hickory Public Schools, Elton City, Watauga County, Chapel Hill, Carrboro Schools, Jackson County, Perquimans County Schools, Terrell County Schools, and Weldon City Schools. So congratulations. If you would like to say anything, you can at this time.
Well, for me, I have to give all the credit to Terrell Elementary School teachers. Mr. Renda Spruill is here with us this evening as the teacher rep, so I have to give all the credit to them. I was not here, so it was their hard work and dedication. I just look forward to exceeding growth.
All right, so thank you, thank you teachers and support staff at every school, because one person cannot do that hard work alone. So we appreciate all of you all. And so at this time, Ms. Williams is going to come up with some of our other recognitions.
Okay.
To the board chair, board members, superintendent, and all that are present here this evening. It is my pleasure to do these accommodations for outstanding work by our staff members. The first one that I want to recognize, and I'm standing in for Ms. Sheila Kaminsky, is we need to be sure to celebrate our career development coordinator, Mrs. Laura Biggs, on November 16th, 2022. In North Carolina, Governor Cooper is proclaiming November 2022 as NC Career Development Month, and November 16, 2022 as NC Career Development Coordinator CDC Day. So on the 16th of November, let's please remember Ms. Laura Biggs. We do have an email that was sent by Dr. Karen Carter that says, Ms. Biggs is one of the shining stars, a true wildcat here at CHS. Back when I was struggling with technology and remote learning, she taught me what I needed to know. She has a passion for teaching and knows kids. She relates well to people, is extremely organized, knows how to lead. We are truly fortunate here at CHS and TCS to have her as a leader, motivator, and a teacher. So again, we offer congratulations to Ms. Laura Biggs, and this certificate recognizes her accomplishments for being an outstanding career development coordinator. Let's give her a round of applause. All right. Now the next one I'm going to have fun with, because these are the fun-loving blue people.
We have fun yelling. She keeps it together.
Well, you gotta have somebody.
All right, good. We have recognized this evening our outstanding student services staff. Now, the certificate reads as follows: for your dedication and service to the total well-being of all students and staff in Terrell County Schools and our community. So we don't take that lightly, that you are doing all that you do. We see you out there, we recognize you, and we are very appreciative of all that you do. Now, even when I need help with my wig, I can call Jazz. Yeah, she keeps me right. But truly, I've been here a year, and I've heard only good things about all that you do to support our students when they have many trials and tribulations going on, particularly during COVID, the aftermath of COVID, and even this year when situations arise. I don't take that lightly, that you are involved, that you are vested, and that you do everything you can in schools to de-escalate situations, and also just to be there for our students. Our students appreciate it, and I do too, and all of us do. I just recognize it as being a former counselor. I was blue until I turned orange. So, but I do recognize that, and I do appreciate all that you do. And on behalf of the Board of Education, Dr. Roseberry, I want to ask you to come up to shake their hands as they receive this very important award. So we don't say thank you enough, or people seem to just call you, come here, I need you over here, what's going on over here. You know, in case that, don't misinterpret it because you are needed and certainly wanted in our district. I've already read it, so the certificate of recognition, the first one goes to Ms. Jasmine Sproul.
Can you just stand right there so we can get a picture of all of you all together? Thank you.
All right. I don't think Ms. Jennifer Westcott is here. Okay. Mrs. Viviana Arce.
Pleasure.
I should have practiced it earlier.
My own child can say.
I don't feel so bad. Okay, I don't believe Miss Selene was here, but we certainly recognize her as well. The counselor at the middle school, Miss Tracy Binkowski. I don't see her either, but I do see Miss Sarah A. Thank you. All right. Miss Diana Stewart, our nurse who does many, many things, particularly keeping us safe with all the protocols we need to follow. We recognize her. And last but certainly not least, the little yellow person over there. Miss Ebony Littlejohn.
Well, again, we want to thank you all for all of your hard work and your support, because we cannot do everything that we have to do if our students and staff members are not socially and emotionally well. So student support staff is the anchor of the school district. So thank you, and continue to just press on and work hard to create great learning environments for students and staff.
Right. Thank you.
Dr. Roseberry, I would like to add that I take credit for these young ladies. They used to work for me. Ms. Sproul and Ms. Sarah, they did an awesome job.
Oh.
She was working with us when they were working with us, so yeah.
Oh, right.
And training well.
Can I ask if our board members could please stand so each member can shake your hands before they go back to this?
Miss Audrey actually would like for them to come back here so we can take a group.
Okay.
Oh, that would be awesome.
We can shake their hands and then go around.
Which way to go? Follow you.
Come on.
Thank you, look, watch it for the cord, watch it for the cord, watch it cord. Thank you.
Congratulations.
No, I'm good.
Is Dr. Roseberry down there?
All right. That was good. Awesome.
Thank you again.
And we have one more.
Yes, we do have one more. When we started our Teacher of the Year recognition, it kind of spurred the schools to recognize staff and all of us to take into consideration those things that need to be recognized and noted. So starting this year, we will be awarding teachers who have perfect attendance each quarter. So according to our data, the person that we can recognize that has perfect attendance and will be the recipient of a, can I say, $50 gift card is Mr. Kahim Dunbar. So he is not here tonight, but I would like to ask the child nutrition director to come forward and accept this on his behalf. I'm gonna trust that she will give him the.
I was trying to convince him to come for 30
Yes,
minutes. He is very shy, but he is a truly hard worker and dedicated.
Yes, he is. So we, on behalf of everyone, we just thank him for his dedication, not missing a day during first quarter.
And you have a boss.
And he got some, yeah, he's my back.
And before I take my seat, I really want to thank Ms. Carolyn Simmons for her hard work with our audit and just keeping us afloat financially. She works so hard. I've just watched her be a little worker bee in the office, and she has been so nice and kind to me since I've been here on October 17th. And we could not do half the things that we do as a district already without Ms. Carolyn and her financial expertise. So thank you, Ms. Carolyn.
Thank you. And thank you all.
We have one more recognition that we would like to highlight. Ms. Terry Donahue is our WITN Teacher of the Week. And so we can make sure that we also celebrate her and give her a certificate as well, because she is also our Teacher of the Week, and she is for WITN. So we're gonna recognize that. Thank you to whoever nominated her. That's something we want to continue to do to uplift the great work that our teachers and the difference that they're making here in the Terrell County community. Thank you.
Thank you and congratulations to all staff and faculty for all y'all do for our students and for those recognized this evening. Next is our in-service and instructional program. Okay, so next, we're going to do our district improvement plan, and Dr. Roseburg will be presenting that.
So this evening, we're going to go over our district plan, our senior team, as well as our Board of Education, and our teachers. We have been engaged in some heavy lifting work of identifying what our goals need to be for the next couple of years as we make sure that we stay on this path of continuous improvement here in Terrell County. So tonight, we would like to share our first draft. Please keep in mind, it's a work in progress. It's not complete, but we wanted to share some of the things that we have done so far. So we can go on to the next slide. The mission and vision statement for the school district, it will change. The Board of Education, along with our district planning team that's supporting the plan, we will revise the mission and vision statement. So the one that you see up here today, it will change and evolve to reflect a current day and what the things that we're currently working on as a district. But as of right now, we have identified 3 goals that we are committed to, and that's increasing our proficiency on all of our state assessments for reading, math, and science. We will be adding a career and college readiness goal there as well, in collaboration with our board and our stakeholders. TCS will create student-centered learning environments that positively support students' academic and behavioral well-being. And we are truly committed on becoming more student-centered. That's an area of growth for us. And so in our team meetings, we have a little quote now that supports this particular goal that says adult behaviors impact student outcomes. So we are committed to becoming more student-centered and meeting the needs of our students academically as well as behavioral. And then for our last goal, TCS will clearly define expectations, processes, and procedures to improve our communication across the district. So we have some growth opportunities with our internal controls here in the district. And so we are committed to that work. We're gonna go into greater detail on the next couple of slides. So for our instructional excellence and alignment goal of becoming more student-centered, We are committed to providing an instructional framework based on learner profiles that inform individualized learning paths and competency-based progression in flexible learning environments. What that means is our district will flex ourselves to make sure that we're meeting the individual needs of our students. We're small enough that we can make sure that our students have learning paths that speak to their interests, but also we want to make sure that they are completing, if they're in CTE or if they're going on to higher education, we want to make sure that they have the prerequisites that they need to compete at any college or in any career field. So we want that balance between college and career readiness here in the district, and it starts at the foundational level of elementary school. For leadership capacity, the district proactively supports the emphasis on student-centered instruction by seeking solutions to remove barriers, including those related to policies, practices, and traditions. We are going to continue to respect the good and wonderful things that are here in Terrell County Schools, respecting our traditions and uplifting that, but also having respect for our students' culture, and what they bring into the learning environment, and removing any barriers that are impeding their success in the learning environment. So we are evaluating our current policies and practices and looking for some clear alignment there so that everyone across the district is clear about our policies, practices, and the traditions that we would like to continue on with and continue to honor the people that we serve here in Terrell County. And then our family and community. Our family, we're nothing without our people. We're nothing without the voices of the people. So for our family and community engagement goal is we're committed to improving two-way communication in the district and across the district. We want to make sure that we're transparent, that we have feedback loops, that our staff and students and parents know who to contact when they have an issue or concern, and we want to make sure that everyone has access to the information. So we are working hard on making sure that we continue to publicize all the wonderful things that are happening in the district, but also folks know which direction we're headed in for continuous improvement. So for our first goal of instructional excellence and alignment, these are our action steps that we are working on creating. So in our district plan, to address this particular indicator for success, we're going to first create and establish and implement student, teacher, business, workforce development, and parent advisory boards to encourage collaboration and alignment to learning outcomes and provide instructional input. So instead of us all being an expert in our own domain, we want to spread the wealth of our knowledge across departments so that we can come together to make sure that all of our students feel that we are truly student-centered and we have their best interests at heart. 2 is for us to identify our core curriculum, K-12, specifically in English language arts, that's what ELA stands for, science and math. We want our families to be able to support our students and be able to know what the curriculum is that we're using in the schools, but also provide that resource to families as well in the home, so that home and school can start working more together to ensure that our students have a strong core curriculum. Number 3 is to continue our trauma-informed restorative practices training and professional development. And as you can see tonight from our student support team, they are the experts in that particular area. They have been working with Ms. Kaminsky on trauma-informed practices, and we hope to continue that with restorative practices, teaching our students how to resolve conflict in a more respectful and responsible manner by first modeling that ourselves at the infrastructure level. And then 4, use our data to drive instruction and support in response to the individual student needs utilizing the MTSS framework. For those of you that may not know what MTSS is, that just means that we're going to meet our students where they currently are, support them with what their needs are, and then creating action plans in response to what their data says that they need. We can intervene on skill. You know, some students may have gaps in their learning. They may not have got the basics when it came to their phonics, or they may not have got the basics when it came to their multiplication facts. Our job is to meet them with closing that skill. And then we also have gaps with our students on their standards, North Carolina Standard Courses set. So we'll be doing that twofold. For leadership capacity, we've already started some work with this with our central office team, but we want to extend this across the district. We want all of our teacher leaders and our teachers to also expand their repertoire with leadership capacity, as well as our folks that run in operations and making sure that the district is running efficiently. We want the district to proactively support the emphasis of student-centered instruction by seeking solutions. And the way we're going to do this is first to develop an employee handbook that is outlining the expectations and clearly defining the roles and responsibilities of staff in the district, so that we can be a better support to one another. We're going to also, number 2, create a list of values important to Terrell County Schools. We want to create a new mission and vision and design a new logo that is inclusive of the new day here in Terrell County Schools. And our hope is to make sure that our students are also involved in that design piece of the logo, and everyone take a vote on what really should be our brand going out there, especially as we service students in the Northeast region. And 3, we're going to create an organizational chart on the results of a personnel assessment. We have asked the Department of Public Instruction to support us in identifying someone that can come in to do a personnel assessment, so that we can really see if our roles really match up with our areas of expertise, and then matching folks in the right places, but also seeing what areas are also needed within our district, and also do a comparison study of districts that are similar in size to us. And our family and community indicator is still under development. So this is one of the areas we will work on November 9th, and we will discuss further about how we want to go about our family and community engagement. But as of right now, we are truly committed to providing that two-way communication channel and encourage the transparency, feedback loops, and access to information to families and community using all of the tools that we have available to us. So we recommend that the BOE approves the first draft of the district plan contingent upon further development of a revised mission, vision, and core values to support the future direction of the district. And we, at this time, we would love to thank the BOE and all of our district team members. If you are a teacher that served on that committee, or an employee, if you guys will please stand up. If you serve on the district planning team committee to help us with the plan. Please give them a round of applause.
Y'all have to stay as loud.
You served on the team. So board members, Joni Lieberman, as well as Karen Cloud, and also Robin Dunbar also served on our planning committee, and also Lee Scripture also joined us. So we are just very appreciative of everyone being engaged and being all in to help us create a high quality plan that will help us go forward. And last but not least, I do want to thank Ms. India Yancey, because India has helped us with organizing all of this information, keeping us on task, and making sure everyone felt inclusive in the process. And so, India, I wanted to publicly thank you for welcoming me into Terrell County Schools and being a great support and help to all of us as we navigate as a transition district right now. So we are in transition, but we are really making some headway, and so we're greatly appreciative of that. And then I see Dr. Worrell is over here in the corner. She's leading our DPI CARES team, and who started a lot of great work here in the district, and she's continuing to support us as we make our plan an actionable plan with true goals that we can truly measure to see our success. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Roseberg. So, the board, we have before us the district improvement plan, and we need to approve it for first reading.
I make a motion for approval for first reading as presented.
Okay, Ms. Silverman has made a motion to approve the district improvement plan on first reading as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, how do you vote, Mr. Scripture?
Yes.
How do you vote, Ms. Gibbs? How do you vote, Ms. Silverman? How do you vote, Ms. Dunbar?
Yes.
Oh, we got a microphone. Yeah. Thank you, Ms. Dunbar, and I vote yes. The district improvement plan is approved on first reading. Thank you. Next up is school plans, equipment, and fiscal affairs, and we have our facilities report with Mr. Doug Patrick.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm just here to update you on 3 projects we're currently working on here. One of them is the athletic facilities grant we received a few months ago. The school received that grant, I think it was $101,385. And what the school decided to do was install some lighting on 2 areas that the school uses for practice fields. So there's 2 parts to that. One area is the in front of the bus garage, and what we're proposing to do there is install 3 lights that run down the school maintenance road. Each pole will have 2 lights on it. That'll tie back into the electrical system at the bus garage. But one thing we've got to do with that is I've been working with Mosley Architects. We've got to provide DPI with some information, like some engineered drawings. So they've taken a look at that for us and sent us a proposal. $7,198 to do that. Yeah, 98. So in order to move forward, we're going to need to get that done. So we're going to ask for you to approve that tonight for us to move forward with Mosley Architects. As far as the time frame, actually Dennis told me that once they got approval, probably 3 weeks to get the drawings back to us. So that, all things considered, will probably put us into January getting that job completed. The second part of that left out was at the elementary school, the softball field. So we're going to have 6 poles over there, 3 down the first base line, 3 down the third base line, 2 lights on each pole. It's going to tie into some electrical system that's already there, concession stand out there. Any questions about that particular project?
I have a question for the athletic field project.
Yeah.
Where are we making up the deficit of the 4,500 approximately?
We're going back and looking at proposals I got from Robbie Barber Electric and redesign. We plan to put in a separate service for each location, but not that much load being the LED lights. So I'm hoping we can redesign that part of it and possibly save enough to cover their $4,500 deficit.
Okay, great.
Okay.
So I'm assuming the $7,198 is for both. It's just for Mosley to look at the design for the elementary school and the bus garage, correct?
Correct. Okay, so we just move on to the next project, which is the CTE wood shop. I'm sure you're all familiar with the metal building that's out behind the high school campus. So last year, I believe during the budget process, we appropriated $40,000 to Add electrical, HVAC, and fire alarm to make it the wood shop. So, on top of that, we found out we've also got to provide the building inspector department with, engineer drawings for that building also. So that is 6925. So if you add all that together with 34 in the red on that one also. Not really sure where we're gonna find that at. We'll leave that to Karen.
And that, I think, is what we'll have to do. We'll have to do a request to use fund balance to cover the shortfall.
As far as the timeline on that, pretty much the same thing. Once Mosley gets the approval with 3 weeks, and then, it's just a matter of moving all the, equipment from Pocosin back to the school campus. Hopefully sometime in December. Any questions about that? So the last project I wanted to talk about was their CTE Learning Lab. We have a pre-construction meeting scheduled for tomorrow here at the board building. So hopefully we'll have a whole lot more details after that's over, but for right now, from what I understand, kind of the timeline is to go ahead and get started with the site work and get the cement slab for the building forward before we get into the worst part of the winter. And once the building gets here, I think they're expecting that maybe early spring, late winter. It should go up across course of the summer months. And I think they plan on turning the building over to us somewhere around Labor Day. And like I said, after tomorrow, we should have a whole lot more details. Any questions about that? So I guess just what we need is approval to move forward with Mosley on the other 2 projects.
So just to call supporting documents to board's attention, there was a performance bond that AR Chesson has already entered into to support the building project with the CTE Learning Lab. And then there's also a contractor's agreement. So just want to make sure y'all had all seen those things, and those are with going with AR Chesson as the contractor. So the recommended actions, the first action is the board needs to approve to move forward in entering a contract with Mosley Architects to design electrical drawings for the athletic field in the CTE woodshop project. Ms. Gibbs has made a motion to enter into a contract with Mosley Architects for electrical drawings. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, how do you vote, Mr. Scripture?
Yes.
How do you vote, Ms. Gibbs?
Yes.
How do you vote, Ms. Flitterman?
Yes.
How do you vote, Ms. Dunbar?
Yes.
And I vote yes. We have approved moving forward with Mosley Architects with the electrical drawings for those projects. The next action you need, hold on 1 second. Not yet, Mr. Patrick. So I just want to clarify, we already have a contract for the CTE lab project with Mosley. Do we need to approve the contractor's agreement with AR Chesson?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to refine our agreement that's on here, and the board needs to approve to move forward with entering the contractor's agreement with AR Chesson for the CTE lab project with Mosley Architects.
Okay.
So that will be the motion that needs to be recommended.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, that's a question. In our last meeting, we did make a motion to move forward with AR testing. So what's the difference in this particular class to go into contract? Is that the particular phrase that's different?
They have actually presented us with a contract that we all have in front of us, and we just need to approve
The contract.
to sign off on this contract, yes.
So has the contract or building or anything changed based on our initial,
No, and this contract has been vetted by our attorney as well. We should add that. So it's gone through the proper procedures. So we just need to approve the contract because it's been vetted through all our steps. So, but nothing has changed. The bid is still for the $1,757,000. Nothing has changed with any of that. It's just been, it's been changed, it's been updated to reflect the actual agreement, I guess. What's the difference with an AIA contract?
The AIA contract is from the builder.
Yeah.
Other contractor. And, Ms. Smith is going to provide us with documents that they actually use for our electrical work. So it'll be a different type of contract that really just spells out the services to the district. That is more concise and succinct. But because you have voted previously to move forward with that, they presented the AIA from their end of things. But she has already reviewed it and said that it's in good standing.
And that's Lindsay Smith that's reviewed it. Okay, Ms. Lieberman has made a motion to approve the AIA contract with A.R. Chesson to move forward with the CTE Learning Lab, the Columbia High School Learning Lab. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, how do you vote, Mr. Scripture?
No.
How do you vote, Ms. Gibbs?
Yes.
How do you vote, Ms. Lieberman?
Yes.
How do you vote, Ms. Dunbar?
Yes.
And I vote yes. The contract has been approved to move forward with A.R. Chesson. Thank you, Mr. Patrick.
Thank you.
Next up is our financial report, Ms. Carolyn Simmons. And as she's making way, I also would like to add thank you to your team for an outstanding audit. I know that's a very stressful time and you really don't breathe until after the auditor leaves. So I hope you took that deep breath this evening.
And I appreciate that, but it's not a job that we do alone. We depend on the directors to give us information. Linda and I are kind of the facilitators to get that data up if it's compliance related. So it takes the whole team. But I'm very pleased that it went so well this year, especially with the new auditors, which they usually anticipate a little bit more time spent, but things came together really well, and we were able to do that, a lot of that remotely, where we could upload data, and that was great. And I did not have to write part of the audit this year, as I have been since I came here. So they handled all of that for me. And then I just did the review, so that was great too. It turned out well.
Glad it's turning into a great partnership.
Yes, I think we will. You know, if I could find my report that I had, right. I sent out quite a few documents along with the audit report, the management letter, and then that required communication. I've got electronic copies of all of that. You also have your bound copy. I also included the budget report as of November the 2nd, and this time I included a couple of additional documents that separate the budget into object code. We approve the budget resolution by purpose code, by what we're using, either regular curriculum or this special populations, that kind of thing. Our money that we get from the state is based on allotments and program codes. So that big long number that we have for a budget code is chopped up in a lot of different things. But the object code is what tells you what exactly we're spending our money on. So when you look at that budget, in the 100 series, that is the salary codes that are allocated. And some of the budget codes are actually very specific. Dr. Roseborough has her own object code. I have my own object code. And so you can identify exactly what those expenditures are for. So, and then we have the 200 series, which is the employer benefits that we pay for retirement, FICA, whatever that we're doing for employee benefits are in the 200 series. In the 300 series is purchase services, that could be professional development, travel. We have contracts for contracted services like OT and PT, our speech contracts. That's all in that 300 series. And then 400, the 400 series is materials and supplies, which would be materials and supplies, like classroom stuff, software, equipment. If we have computers, all of that is in that 400 series. Then the capital outlay is the 500 series, and that is Doug's major projects we just talked about. Those are in that 500 series. And then in 700 are transfers. And that includes, we have to provide child nutrition, $45,000 every year that comes out of our state allotment, out of central office money. That is in there, and then any transfers of money from our local budgets for charter schools. And so that's what you're looking at. So as of November the 2nd, we have spent 27% of our salary budget for the year. Keep in mind that we have some positions that are vacant, and so that is why normally you would think here, we need to be spending about a fourth of our money, or 4 months of our money in that total, but we have some vacancies in there. Employer benefits, we have 30% out of our purchase services, 23%, supplies and materials, 36%, capital outlay is at 81% right now based on, because most of our big projects that came out of our county appropriation, that 100,000 we get from the county, most of that money has been spent already. So we're moving on to the next stage where we have the grant money that's been spent out. The transfers, we actually have already done our transfer to child nutrition. So we're at about 45% of that budget has been expended. So if you have any deep questions about the detail, when you get into that, I'll be glad to answer those questions. We actually had 6 allotment revisions for the month. We got our money from early college, the 200,000. We have some K-8 literacy funds, $1,569. We got a grant for feminine hygiene products, $2,500. We had 2 allotments for IDEA targeted assistance, one for $5,500 and one for $500. We received $44,000 for CTE for certifications for our students for the CTE credential certifications. We received money for principal bonuses. You saw 2 of our schools that meant growth, 2 of our principals who were here last year received performance bonus based on those growth scores. So we had funds to provide that. And there was a couple I wanted to mention that in 19 and 20, they took some money away from us and they said, oh, we made a mistake and we gave it back. So that kind of washed out. But I gave you that detail to see that. Okay. Any questions about that part of the budget? Okay. I also gave you a comp time report, and that's for information. And we are looking at it at the district office and at the school administrative office. We're looking at those comp time numbers so that we can keep that down, because every comp time hour has a dollar value. If someone would leave, we would be required to pay them out for that. So we'll try to keep that down. And those reports have been, sent out to the school, the administration for them to look at. Right at the end of October, after payroll, we had 451 comp hours on the books, which equates to about $8,500 in liability. All right, a couple of updates about payroll. During the holiday season, our normal payday is the 4th Friday. So we have a couple of changes. We're going to be issuing payroll early in November, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. And then in December, we're going to issue payroll on December 20th, which will be the last student debt. So just give you that information. Any questions about that? Okay, the final thing, in the budget meeting, we talked about the additional money supplemental fund for teacher compensation that was allotted in PRC 071. We received $329,450. At that time, we talked about, that the board has to have a plan of how that's going to be paid. That amount of money will fund right at 50 teachers to receive the maximum amount of $5,000 for the year and cover the benefits. This extra compensation is considered subject to retirement, so we have to take that into consideration when we do that. Then we have an additional 3.6 teachers that do qualify, but we don't have enough funding for that. So we have a proposal to use some of our small county money, and then for one of our positions, we have a grant that will pay half of that. So the board needs to make a decision about how we're going to do that. And just to remind you, last year, the maximum amount was $4,250. And we received allotment late in the year, and so we ended up paying that in the month of June. It was the first year without installment payments. It helped the teachers out. They weren't going to have any summer installment payroll coming in, and so we paid that like at about the middle of June for everybody that was eligible. So we have a recommendation. Dr. Roseborough, would you want to share that, or do you want me to? Okay, we talked about it, and what our recommendation is to split the amount of the money, the $5,000, $2,500 to be paid out in December. Everybody who is eligible that is employed on December the 16th will receive that on December the 20th, $2,500 of that. And then for the second half, pay that amount out before spring break. So that would be another $2,500 paid out right in, what did we say? April 6th. April 6th. Okay. So anybody that would be employed on April 1st would be eligible to receive the second half. And then if we had anybody who left after that payment, that second payment in April, if they left before the last day of the school year, they would owe the district back that money because we would have to send that back to DPI. So that is the proposal. So we put that before the board. That's our recommendation of how we want to go forward. We want to include our pre-K teachers. They were not included in the language, but we have other funds that we can do for them for that.
So, do you have a formal motion, or do you want us to just say a formal motion?
So that would be the motion. The recommendation is to split the $5,000, make sure that every eligible person is paid the $5,000 maximum, $2,500 in December, $2,500 in April, and if any staff member would leave, they would owe that reimbursement back to the state, to the districts, that we can reimburse the state.
So, board members, you've heard the recommendation. We just need a motion to discuss.
I make a motion to split the payments in half, one in December, one in April. And then also if someone leaves after that April payment, and they would reimburse the school district.
So Ms. Litterman has made a motion of how to distribute the bonus money from the state per the recommendation of the district. Is there any discussion?
I do have one question about the reimbursement. Would they reimburse the full amount if someone leaves after April 6th, or whatever that date was.
If they had left, because we're using that April 1st date, so it would be April and May, those would be the 2 months they would owe. And depending on when they left, when we would prorate that $2,500 for the 5 months that are from January to May. That's the contract dates, or the contract is for 10 months for a teacher. And so the first 2,500 would be for the first 5 months of the year, and then the second 25 would be the second half. So that would be $500 per month, depending on when they left. And, whatever, that would be, that a reduction in their benefits too. So we'd have to pull back retirement, whatever goes along with that payment would have to come back.
Carolyn,
Yes, Ms. Dunbar.
would that be withheld from that last payroll check that they received from the school? Is that
Yes,
what
it
you
would.
saying?
So if any payout that they would have, that final check, that's when we would withhold that as a deduction.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions about the motion that's on? Hearing no more discussion or questions, how do you vote, Mr. Scripture?
Yes.
How do you vote, Ms. Gibbs?
Yes.
Ms. Liberman?
Yes.
How do you vote, Ms. Dunbar?
Yes.
And I vote yes. The teacher supplemental bonus proposal has passed. Thank you. So we are down to superintendent's report. Whatever you do.
So, we want to first thank our principals and teachers and members of the central office team for attending the state AIM conference, as well as the Northeast RESA conference. We did have a presenter represented at the AIM conference. That was Mr. Ziegler, and one of his teachers presented, and so we wanted to recognize them at this time for doing that on behalf of our district. And then also the Northeast region is surveying the need to offer a virtual learning academy regionally. So there is a group of superintendents in the Northeast region that will be working together to see what we can provide our students that need that flexible learning path that we mentioned earlier, but putting our resources together to offer the best learning options for the students in the Northeast region. Then also, recently, the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction has finally settled on the characteristics of a portrait of a graduate. It is now finalized, and the portrait identifies 7 competencies for students that students must possess as they graduate from high school and thrive in the 21st century workplace to be college, career, or military ready. And I'm so happy that it's inclusive of all 3, which goes with that E3 concept of being enrolled, enlisted, or employed. So these are the characteristics. Students must be adaptable. They must know how to collaborate with others, be able to communicate and articulate themselves well, critical thinking, empathy, learner's mindset, and personal responsibility. And we're gonna make sure that we also lift up these characteristics amongst our high school students and make sure our elementary and middle school students are aware of these characteristics as we build a pipeline of future leaders for North Carolina. EdNC did a statewide survey regarding the status of our school performance grades. You may have heard a little something about that. Maybe we're going to change to be a little bit more inclusive of other characteristics for schools other than school performance grades. They surveyed previously in 2019, and 90% of the respondents said that school performance grades should also be included as other measures beyond test scores. It should be inclusive of that, as well as student growth. And again, the results came in at 90%. So overwhelmingly across the state, everyone agrees that we should have multiple measures to determine student success. And then 52% agreed that the public should be made aware of school performance grades. So that still remains the same, at 52%, half and half. It was that way in 2019, it is the same today. So we are looking for, some changes there in our school performance grades as a result of the survey. So not quite sure what the percentages are gonna be or what the multiple measures will be, but there will be some changes. We do anticipate some changes there. And then also on a positive, upbeat note, I have been on my listening tour. I'm in the middle of my 30-day plan, moving into the 60 and the 90th day plan. And part of that plan is getting out and meeting community stakeholders. And so because we're moving a little slow with the process, we've decided to host our first annual People Fest on November the 19th, that Terrell County is thankful for its people. You're only as good as your human capital in your community. And so this is gonna be a day to thank the community for welcoming me with open arms, but most importantly, thanking our community for lifting up our schools, supporting our schools. And it's gonna be a day of fun, food, and games, and want kids and everyone to come out, and we'll have a meet and greet session where we'll be able to share some of the work that we've been doing, like our district plan. Hopefully we'll have more information about our mission and vision to share, and then also question and answer period. So that will be on November the 19th from 12 to 2. It will be at our middle and high school campus. And so I want to thank Mrs. Mathias and Mr. Ziegler for allowing us to use the campus on a Saturday. We had it on a Saturday on purpose because we want as many folks to come out to engage with us. And it doesn't matter if you currently have a student in the school system or not, we just want you to come out and enjoy us and engage with us. So that's November the 19th, right before Thanksgiving. Great. Thank you. There are no other updates. Thank you.
This is our emails.
I just want to say thank you to Dr. Rosborough for coming in and getting the ground running. I know that you've had tons of conferences already, but also meeting with different teachers and our principals, and I really do appreciate. I'm excited. I know we've done great things in Carroll County, but I'm excited to see us continue to improve, to be that shining star in the Northeast and all of Carolina. So
Thank you. I also want to add to that, what a pleasure it is to have you at your first meeting that you now have finished almost. You just finished when I say it was for adjournment, but you survived it. So again, welcome to Carroll County, less than 30 days in, and you're already doing some great things, reaching out to the community and our staff and faculty and also our students. And we look forward to continue to work with you and all the great things that are going to happen in our district.
Well, thank you to all of you all as well for supporting me and helping me with my move. I'm so appreciative, and I just can't wait to see what we're gonna do together, moving forward together.
I also want to remind all the board members of, we have a planning retreat on, my days are getting mixed up because it's a crazy week, but Wednesday, 12 to 5 at the Eastern 4-H Center with our administration staff to continue, especially working with our mission and vision and values. So hope to see you all there. So with that, is there a motion to adjourn?
Stop right there.
We always love this speed motion. Ms. Gibson made a motion to adjourn. How do you vote, Mr. Christopher?
Yes.
How do you vote, Ms. Gibbs?
Yes.
How do you vote, Ms. Zimmerman? Yes. How do you vote, Ms. Dunbar?
Yes.
And I vote yes. We are now adjourned. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you everyone for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care of it.
Good night, Mr. Scripps.
See y'all later.
Thank you.